Hi everybody, happy Friday. Hope you're enjoying the week. I have a bee buzzing around me right now. It's driving me insane. I'm going to pretend that it doesn't exist. A few things I wanted to go through just for the weekly wrap up. Most pressing, for some of you at least, is the Dropbox is closing for all of your submissions. So when I say the Dropbox is closing for Unit 1, I mean that all of your Dropboxes and all of your discussion. So every evaluation is closing. You need to submit. And if you have permission, let me just show you what I'm seeing here. So this is my Dropbox folder, just so you see. We've had 70 submissions for the first assignment, which is great because everyone kind of was redoing it. And then less resubmissions for the other ones, but you're totally able to do so and allowed to do so, and I hope you take advantage of that as much as possible in this course. So if I gave you permission to hand in something late because you were away on vacation or because we discussed some other complication, and you communicate that with me, permitted late, you can put it in here after that Dropbox is closed. Don't just use this if you randomly. I would prefer it if it's in the normal Dropbox. So consult with me before using that. Okay, that's the first thing. I want to go through TimeToast. That's the web tool I thought you should use for your timeline. So this is for the Unit 3 timeline. Whenever we use web tools, right, what we're trying to do is ameliorate, or the best use of technology ultimately will not just substitute for a piece of paper. It will allow you to share in different ways. It will allow you to access information in different ways. So I'll just show you a timeline that I made for a course, which is totally unspectacular. And in fact, it really is not a great model, because yours should be way better than this. This was like just thrown together. But I'll show you what some of the capabilities I'd like to see are. So, this is a pretty boring timeline look, I think, in terms of design. It's not the best tool, and maybe you can find a better tool, that's fine. But what I like about this is you can post two things. So not only can you post the information, and you can post pictures, which is what a normal timeline would look like, but you can do this kind of thing. So you go in here. Oh, that's a bad example. Bad example. Better example. You can go in and you can create links. So if you're talking about a specific document or a specific primary source that's really interesting, so I was talking about a report in the development of education. Exciting stuff, guys. Trust me, exciting stuff. You can go directly to it, and look, it pops up, and you can just kind of flip through it. So that kind of link is something that really would not be possible without the internet. So that's awesome. I hope if I click out of here it will return me to where I want to go, but I don't think it will. Exactly what I didn't want to do. Okay, but you get the point. Then other types of, I guess the way we could call this is we could call them kind of transformative uses of a Web 2.0 tool. Besides a link, there's obviously the plethora of resources on YouTube which can really spice up your timeline. And if you can find great clips to show the various stages of World War I that you're supposed to, then that'd be fantastic. So again, this is kind of one of those assignments where you're getting graded. Like let's just take a look, as we always should, at what we're getting graded on. So this is what I see. It's a little different than what you see. But I can look at evaluate here, and we can look at our level 4. So this is the rubric. This is our success criteria. Events selected for timeline are key and significant in explaining World War II. Okay, so that's the first one. I'm asking you to be discerning and choosing not every event, but the most important ones. Canada's involvement is clearly stated, as is the event's significance. So the second part of that is, not only are we looking for important dates in terms of World War II, we're looking at significant key dates for Canada's contribution, which is a little trickier. Visuals used for each event. They are relevant and emphasize the significance of the event. Okay, so visuals, it's an online timeline. I mean, any timeline you'd probably want pictures of some sort. And then the last one that I include is Web 2.0 tools used for maximum effect and brings timeline to life. So again, thinking about links, think about video, think about all the types of infographics you could come up with. All of those things, all of those aspects of the tool should be put to use. Okay? Great. I think that's all I want to say about that. Midterm marks are next Friday. That means that at a certain point I will only be able to include what you've submitted. So if you're behind, I just won't include those. If you're missing a lot of assignments, I'm going to have a conversation with you at some point to see how you're doing and to figure out how we can make sure you get this credit. I think if you don't know by now, I obviously am doing my best to give you the best chance of doing well in this, because you get to submit things and resubmit them, and even though that's a little bit more marking for me, I think it's well worthwhile in terms of process and in terms of learning, and I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to see so many of you taking advantage of it as well. Fourthly, I'm offline most of the weekend. That doesn't mean I won't check my emails and respond to you, but I tend not to do marking for a couple of days. And speaking about marking, just so you know, sometimes, you know, it's not easy. Let me just get back to here. I mean, if you look at my Dropbox for a second, right? You can see, you know, for the most part, I've tried to really keep Unit 1 clean and get through almost everything you've handed in for Unit 2 as well. And then my lag time, as we get into the discussions especially, and there's more assignments due every day, will be about 24 hours. So yesterday's dialogue is mainly untouched still, and so I'll try to get to that by the end of the day, and then, you know, it'll kind of be about a 24-hour lag. But of course, you have over a week after the original day of submission to rework these. So I think that gives you plenty of time to do that. And finally, communication is a two-way street. So I'm doing my best to communicate with you. I'm posting videos. I try to respond to every email. I try to give you a lot of audio commentary, which is great. And I would appreciate you do the same thing. The more you're absent and the less I know about why you're absent, and the less you communicate with me directly about those days where you might not be online or might not, the less, you know, the less that two-way street exists, and the less I'm able to do for you. So really, you know, it's just as important for you to communicate with me as it is for me to communicate with you, and just keep that in mind as we go forward. That's all I got for today. Have a great weekend. A lot of you are doing really well, and I'm happy to see that. And I look forward to the next couple weeks to see what you come up with. Great submissions from a lot of people. Keep it up. Take care.